G'day everyone and welcome back to NS2HD. Back in NS2HD 64 I talked about how to get into the map NS2_real life, and I said it involved running around on the inventory portal, typing some things in console, doing some crazy stuff. Well, I actually lied to you. All you really need to do is become a lurk, get into NS2_tram and fly very, very quickly. So you've got to be a little bit back to the future. You've got to go really, really fast. So if you go back to one of the end of the tunnels and then fly all the way back to the other end of the tunnel, it will build enough speed for you to transition into another dimension like this. G'day everyone. I asked the NS2 mappers to make me a new real-life map for my new real-life movie. Unfortunately, I think they've gone a little bit overboard. It's too windy out here to say anything, there's too much sunlight, it's too bright, and there's too much forest around, I can barely move. So, as usual, we're going to have to go inside to see what this movie is all about. As an amateur movie maker, I've always been fascinated by trailers. They're invariably about 2 or 3 minutes long, they've got some catchy music, and they're quickly cut up to get an emotional response out of people and make them want to play a game or watch a movie. And the Unknown World's new Natural Selection 2 beta trailer is no different. This trailer is designed to get a response out of people who've never seen Natural Selection 2 and get them playing. Now, its birth was a little bit weird, because Unknown Worlds is no stranger to making trailers. They're experts. They've made so many, I couldn't even count them on my fingers. The most recent example being the Fade reveal. The Fade reveal took months and months of man-hours work and late nights from all the Unknown Worlds team to get it out there for our viewing enjoyment. And when it came to actually making a trailer to actually show off what Natural Selection 2, how it plays, instead of just revealing a character, Unknown Worlds decided that their time would be better spent actually making the game. So instead of going to themselves and getting their paid employees to do it, Unknown Worlds came to me and said, hey NS2HD, would you mind having a little go and see what you can come up with? And I said, guys, are you serious? I have no idea how to make a trailer. Are you joking? And they said, it's alright, just have a go, and if it's looking half decent, we'll help you polish it up and turn it into something that we might actually release. So I had a go, and I had huge help from especially Corey, he was basically the director of the whole thing that you see here, Simon, who did all the sound, and Brian, who did the cinematics, and basically all I did was edit them together and just encode the thing and send it back to them. And so the reason that's so exciting is because now on YouTube I can show you how this trailer was actually made and give an idea for all you guys out there who might want to do a similar thing. What goes into these trailers? How are they made? How do they get the sound? How do they get the animations? How do they get the cinematics? How do they cut it all together? How do they actually send it off to have it presented on websites and all that? And because I'm making this channel, and because I'm not a paid employee of Unknown Worlds, I've got the time to show you. I've got the time to make this making of documentary and show you what went into making it, how it was done, what programs I used, how I used them, where I got the footage, how I stored the footage, etc, etc, etc. And so if you're interested in movie making, I hope you enjoy this video. This is meant for you. And if you're not interested in movie making, well, maybe watch anyway. Maybe you'll see some cool Natural Selection 2 gameplay that landed on the cutting room floor and didn't make it into the trailer. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go. Welcome back to the NS2HD editing station, everyone. If you haven't seen it before, check out NS2HD 64 if you do want to see what makes it tick. This is the actual Premiere Pro timeline that I used to edit the Unknown Worlds Entertainment NS2 beta gameplay trailer. It's a really long name. Sometimes I have trouble pronouncing it all. Programs I use, if you haven't seen 64, I'm using Creative Suite 5 from Adobe Student Edition. So to create this trailer, I used 5 different programs: Premiere Pro for the editing, After Effects for the special effects, Encore for the disc authoring at the end to archive it, Soundbooth for a little bit of sound editing, but I didn't end up actually having to do it because Simon is just such a genius, and finally Photoshop to create and edit the actual rough basis for a lot of the effects. So now in this video I'm going to give you a bit of a zoom in view to see how I actually edited together the timeline, and then after that I'm going to do an example of one of the text effects and how I created the text effects. So at the end hopefully you'll have an idea of how it all got put together. And what you see here is the actual timeline that I used. You can see that this doesn't have the text effects or any of the special effects applied. This is just the bare bones, maybe 35 shots that went into actually creating the trailer. So there's the sculpt drop, followed by, there'd be a quote there, followed by, that's the commander view and showing off the commander view there. Now, what I did to put all this together was I basically took the shots that Corey, Strader, the Unknown Worlds art director, said he wanted, and began to just roughly overlay them on the soundtracks that Simon, the Unknown Worlds sound guru, gave me. And Unknown Worlds had a composer called David John working for them to create an actual soundtrack out of some of the music he'd already created for the Unknown Worlds soundtrack. So basically, as I got a rough soundtrack, I just started to overlay tracks and shift them around on the timeline to basically start to match up with a few of the beats. And all of these shots are linked together really simply with a couple of, usually it's either a dip to black, which is just done by adjusting the opacity of the shot in the After Effects the Premiere Pro effects controls, or it's a crossfade. And I tried to use crossfades when we were moving between the same scene, and I tried to use dips to black when we're moving, say, from commander view to the shotgun into the armory. I considered that to be like a change of perspective, so that required a dip to black, whereas the command view to extractor shot, I thought that was, I mean, it was implying we were moving from the extractor up here to the extractor on the ground, so it was still the commander's sort of overview of what was going on. So they're basically the two transitions I used. I didn't use any other transitions. When you're making something like this, pretty transitions are a no-no. You want to keep it clean and professional, so that's why I've only used dips to black and crossfades to link together the shots. Now, of all the shots you see here, there are about 100 shots, you can see when I expand the timeline, that did not get used, and I've deleted heaps of them off the timeline. So there is just so much footage that did not get used, including this, which would have to be my favorite shot if I can just expand it out here and play it to you full screen. This shot was my favorite shot. Unfortunately, the FPS was a bit crap and my aim was a bit bad, and it didn't really fit the trailer, so we had to dump that. But I liked it because I thought it was a pretty cool shot of having the Marine run down and beat the skulk off him, flying past and then shooting. So that's just an idea of some of the shots that we got that we didn't get to use, and there were like 50 shots like that that were really, really cool, but we didn't get to use them because they just didn't fit into the time limit or what Corey wanted for the trailer. Because let me elaborate on our actual roles. You can see I've got all this footage here and all this stuff. I mean, that's just one folder of footage on the left-hand side of your screen here, scrolling. There's about 30 shots in there, probably none of them even used. And basically what was going on was Corey would say, NS2HD, we want a shot where you are in the commander view and you're looking down on the commander view and you're showing the viewers what the commander view looks like. And so I'd say, okay, and I'd go and have a go. And I'd do it maybe 15 times. And Corey would pick one that he liked, but then he'd say, I like that one, but I want you to change it a little bit and put more of this in. So I'd do it again another 15 times, and we'd do it again. And the NS2 Unknown Worlds playtesters, who I'll list all their names at the end of this documentary, they were basically the guys that acted. So there were no bots used ever. It was all the Unknown Worlds playtesters. They would say, oh my God, NS2HD, do we have to film again? And I'd say, please guys, just one more group of 50 shots. And they'd come in and be awesome guys and just put up with me asking them to just have a fight. So we never really have a script. We wouldn't say, okay, at 3 minutes someone run right, at 2 minutes someone run left. It would just be everyone come into a room, we're just gonna have a fight, we just need to get a lurk fight. So the whole trailer is very unscripted. It just happens as it happens, and basically I tried to record big fights from as many shots as possible and then edit together like the power node fight, which you see about halfway through the trailer with a fade knocking out the power node. That wasn't scripted, it was just a fight in a room that we recorded and we checked out how it happened. Now moving on to some of the actual text effects that we used. If I pull one up right there, there we go. RTS and FPS gameplay seamlessly combined, and you can see we've done the orange fireball and then had the text fly in and then fly out. Now that text effect, me being an amateur, I don't know how to do them very efficiently, and that text effect alone actually took, I think, about 40 minutes to render on the first pass. So even when I was just trying it out and seeing what it looked like, that took 40 minutes to render, and I'll give you a look at how we actually made that. Now, it's a combination of using After Effects, CS5, and Photoshop. So Photoshop's over here on the right-hand side of the screen, and After Effects is here on the left-hand side of the screen. And what happened was Corey would draw what he wanted to happen. So he drew this Photoshop document over here and said, NS2HD, can you have a go at animating that? And so I just jumped in and had a go at animating it. And when you've got a Photoshop document like this, you can drag it straight across. I'm not sure if you can see the detail, but there are actually Photoshop documents sitting inside this After Effects composition, and you can edit them. And when you edit them on the Photoshop document, so if I have a go at editing this, not sure if I can, no, I'm not going to be able to edit it fast enough for this video, but if I edit this, if I draw all over it, then, and save it, then it should pop up over here in, there you go, see, now I've got black lines all over the animation being animated as well. So you work dynamically between Photoshop and After Effects to create the shot you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and undo all of that damage I just did to that that Photoshop document, so that I can show you how this was actually made. This is a combination of two layers. We've got the text layer separate from the actual orange glow layer. So you can see I'm separating them there in Photoshop, and I've animated them separately. And the effects used for the text are basically a light burst, and a dissolve to introduce it. And to actually show you what that means, I'll just cut to the middle and I will change the light burst effect so you can see its effect. So right now, when the text has been introduced, the light rays are at 0, but earlier they were blowing out like that. So you can see I'm adjusting the rays. I'm going from 100 to 0 to 100 to 0 to 100 to 0, and that's what that effect does. It blasts light out of whatever Photoshop layer it is that you're using to use as a basis for the effect, and you can blast it backwards as well. So I don't know if you've seen Superman, but they use that in the Superman opening credits. And I did the same thing for the orange glow to create the explosion that you see. If I load up the orange glow here, load up the effects, this is a combination of, I'll change the light burst here so you can see it as well. Ray length currently 145, going to go blow it out to 353, so you can see it creates that explosion there when you modify the ray length. And also the little glowies, which Corey dubbed the hive glowies, you can see glowing and flying around the composition. They're basically CC light rays, and I've put the CC light ray in the background. Okay, a little bit of a cut there, I don't know what that was. CC light rays, so I'll take CC light rays 4 here, and if I say blow out its radius, you'll see there it is. That light ray is exploding out of the composition just to show you where it is. So with 8 of those all combined, that created the effect that I wanted to have, the little glowing spots surrounding the orange explosion, and that's how the text effects were created. Well everyone, that's it for now. That's all I've got for you in this making of little mini documentary for the Unknown Worlds Natural Selection 2 Beta gameplay trailer. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a little bit. If you didn't know things before, now you might know them about making your own trailers and your own videos. So, as I said in NS2HD 64, I've been doing these real life videos to show you how I do things so you can do them. And I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.